Wu-Tang said protect your neck. We're telling you protect your data. Okay? Protect that thing.
Thank you for joining us with the news that
you
can use.
Yep.
Yeah. So what we got, man? What's going on this week with the news man?
We just want to say, there's a whole lot of things going on in the world today, and you know what I'm saying. First of all, R.I.P. to Fat Man Scoop.
Oh yeah, that just happened. Yeah, R.I.P. to Fat Man Scoop. Playing Timberland.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he passed over the weekend, and Fat Man Scoop was part of our upgrade. I mean, not upgraded, but our
upbringing.
Yeah, he's a staple in hip hop, but not only that, he's a staple in the party scene. And with that, you know what I'm saying, it kind of took me for a shock, like, you know what I'm saying. But it's a good thing to know that he is well loved and well, you know what I'm saying, revered. Because that's all I saw on my timeline when it happened. Because I got an alert while I was looking for things, like doing some researching for our show, and it popped up like 25 seconds after I was online looking for some topics that we can bring to you guys. And I was like, no. And then when I clicked the link, it was TMZ, and TMZ, they not gonna put themselves out there like that.
Yeah.
They did once, and that one time they got a whole lot of backlash on it.
You gonna learn
today more. So,
but Fat Man Scoop, man. That was if you went to high school in the 90s or high school parties and dances, and then early adult life when we was clubbing, you man, Fat Man Scoop got you going. He was like the newer version of a Luke. Because when he starts to chanting, you get you going. The arms is going everywhere. Like, hey.
Yeah, man.
They are Fat Man Scoop, man. And condolences to his family.
Like, he was real big for him. His music really set off a lot of the clown dancing out here in LA.
That's right.
The Love Like This Before with the Faith Evans. If you got $100, he was really instrumental. Like, I was on Crenshaw listening to that man. I was, I remember when I used to do I had my little dance team. We used to do all that stuff to his music. Soul Train, you know what I'm saying? That was it, bro.
That was it. So, that was it. That's everywhere.
R.I.P. to Fat Man Scoop. You know what I'm saying? I know that wasn't on the list of the things for us to talk about, but I just had to show love to
Gotta do it, man. Gotta do it. And then speaking of, Crenshaw and stuff, so that's not Coach Rayner. I believe that's Coach Ryan H. So I believe that's one of our guys. So
hey, what a Hawk man. Hawk man.
There you go. I looked at that again. I'm like, wait a minute. All right. Hey, thanks for checking in with us, bro. Love you. Representing now. Texas in the house, baby.
Yeah.
LA to El Paso, and everywhere in between and across the world. Okay.
Yeah. But in the meantime, in between time, let's switch some grinds and gears. We just recently celebrated the King of Pop's 66th birthday, R.I.P. to Michael Jackson. And with that, his final bodyguard came through with some information. It was said the real reason why Michael Jackson died, or the real reason why his death occurred, was not just because of an overdose. Michael was facing depression because of the fact that even though he beat a case, he still was, his record or his image was really tarnished. Now, it wasn't back when he passed in 2009.
I remember that.
66 years old, had he still been alive. And with that, social media is not what it is now, what it was then. I think that it probably would have got over quicker because everything nowadays you get over it quicker than a hiccup. Something happened over here. Next thing you know, over here, like The only thing that seems to be lasting is Diddy and, and Tupac. I mean, not Tupac,
you know, I'm gonna keep it real. Diddy was a hot topic until the Hot Tool girl came out. Hot Tool kind of distracted us from Diddy. We forgot about Diddy.
I ain't forget about Diddy.
We ain't forgot about Diddy.
That guy.
Yeah, but
come on back, man. Come on back.
I know. Yeah, but with Michael Jackson, he was facing depression, and he was also facing issues to the point where his bodyguard said that he wouldn't hurt a soul, and he said before he would do that, he would slit his own wrist.
His wrist, yeah.
And that, and even though he was still about to go on his, you know, I wouldn't call it a revenge tour, his comeback tour, right? And he was saying it was his last one. If you saw the interviews, you know he was very amped and positive and happy about it. And some of the people on the dance crews that he flew out to stay for the whole dance, the backup dancers, because if you ever seen one of Michael's shows, I haven't seen any live, but I've seen them on YouTube, and it seems like it's millions, and I mean millions of dollars and energy and hours of work that go into one performance. He was gonna go, his residency was gonna go from I believe October to March.
He had a long period he had booked.
Yeah, and that was gonna be his This Is It tour, right? And they were the staff was like, Michael's just in it. He's like going hard, doing what he's doing, which Michael Jackson, you know, in order to be that great of a person, to keep our names in his mouth for decades and decades, he had to put in that sweat equity, put in that work for him to get the title King of Pop. So he got that King of Pop.
Oh yeah,
but
damn,
he still couldn't face. I mean, he still had to face the fact that there were people that were lying on his name. And even though the verdict was not guilty, everything was acquitted, it still takes a toll on that man.
Oh yeah, because you're still suffering the court of public opinion, you know.
And
people talking, comedians saying stuff too. There's plenty of comedians that didn't say favorable things about him,
right?
And to your point, right, one of the quotes from that article that you're talking about, his bodyguard said he was definitely stressed out, and stress kills. And like this, they say stress is that silent killer, you know what I mean? And a few things there, right? Like I would probably say I'm glad social media wasn't out back then, because look at earlier what we just said about Diddy, right? Y'all came back and was like, nah, Diddy's still a thing, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if social media was the way it is now back then, if it would have added even extra stress to what he was going through, because then now not just the famous people saying stuff that's being heard, now you can just have like the average Joe say something and it goes viral, like the Hot Tool girl, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would have made it even worse. What you think about that, Bobby?
I don't know. Do you think so? No, let's split this open a couple of ways. One, it's sad to see people with millions of dollars worth so much feel so little, right? So that's Michael Jackson. I followed him a lot growing up. I enjoyed his music, and I still enjoy his music. He's a fantastic musician. You could tell he put a lot of passion into what he did. So much respect to the King of Pop. That's definitely a title that he earned. But as far as the way social media goes, I think that, you know, nowadays it's going to be, people rip you limb to limb with knowing very little information, very little about the real information being said. And so, just like you said, he was on trial in the court of public opinion. He's been, you know, I don't want to use the word strung up because that sounds terrible, but, you know, they'd have put a match to his behind because, you know, working off this little information or what I would call hearsay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, and then we live in a world of cancel culture too. What?
Yeah. But the cancel culture world it's like you get canceled. But then you can come back 6 months later, 6 years later.
Yeah, good point.
Because I guarantee you that. No, I can't guarantee you that. Because what we saw.
I think Michael Jackson would be too big to be canceled.
He's too big to be canceled. Because there was people actually.
He's somebody too big.
Yeah, there was people who actually committed suicide. I mean, unalived themselves. I'm sorry.
Unalived
themselves when he died. Or went unalive. Either way, I don't know the term. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man, no, man. I was it hurt my heart, man. I was actually a couple of things with him. So when I first came in the Air Force, my first base was Vandenberg, which is only like 45 minutes away from Santa Barbara, where Neverland is. So I know for a fact he used to bring the families of like deployed airmen to Neverland for dinner. He used to show the military a lot of love. And then when I was on honor guard, once you hit like 50 details, they used to give you an incentive helicopter flight. And they would fly over Neverland Ranch. So and he never tripped to none of that. So show the military a lot of love. You never hear about it, right? I mean, we knew about it because we was right down the street from it, right? Because I remember on my incentive flight, we were like, man, go over Neverland Ranch. And they did it. So he showed the military a lot of love. But I mean, it probably was not the best thing to have kids around like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't think that he did the things he's accused of, right? But just optics is the thing. You know what I mean? Like you mean well, but you do got to pay attention to optics. Like, I don't know if he helped himself in his situation by allowing yourself to fall to bad optics. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I put that out there for anyone watching this news. You could lose to. Be careful what you do, man. Especially now, we got cameras everywhere. There's a camera everywhere.
We got editors, because we got some crazy editors. Editors can make you look like you're doing something that you didn't do.
And the AI.
Yeah.
Man, they had me robbing a bank last week. I was like, what? No, I'm just playing.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. No, but I mean, but we cannot discount his accomplishments, man. He's helped a lot of people around the world, like the military. Like I said, right, I'm biased on that one. And this man sold 500 million records.
500 million records
by himself.
Yeah,
by himself. That's not including the Jackson 5 stuff. By himself, he sold 500 million records, dog, and gave us classics like "I Want to Rock with You."
Yeah,
man, that's my number one Michael Jackson song. Period. Is "I Want to Rock with You." What's you shook your head, Bobby? What's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
Billie Jean.
Billie Jean. Okay.
And no, nothing wrong with Billie Jean.
Nothing wrong with that.
My husband's a musician, and he the foundation of him wanting to do music was actually of Michael Jackson. And so when he and I got together, I found out he had a YouTube channel where he records himself singing and playing guitar, but different types of songs. And one of the best songs I thought he ever did, he loved singing Michael Jackson's "Dirty Diana."
Ooh,
and what he does with his vocals is just interesting. I'm like I couldn't even see you singing something like that. People assume because of his long hair he's into heavy metal, but when I first got together, come to find out, I was like, hey, listen, I know I listen to church music because we met at church, but I was like, I really love Bone Thugs and Harmony. I just want you to know this. And he's like, me too. So we were coming together on what music sang to our soul, and for him it was the fact that both of us love Bone Thugs, and it's not your traditional like heavy metal like most people assume. Like, no, it's like Michael Jackson, like stuff that we grew up listening to, but it didn't hit the same way anymore. Like music hits different when people are gone, and I think even when I was younger and I watched some of the stuff that happened to Michael Jackson, part of me believed that as cool as it is to have so much money, one of the things you're gonna have happen, you're gonna get attacked. There's gonna be people who want a piece of your pie, and I just feel like as a parent, why would you set yourself up and your kids up for anything that could even be negatively, construed in the incorrect manner, whether on you as a parent, on your child, or on the person who's invited you into their home.
Yeah.
So You
point.
know,
All around.
what I'm looking at with that was and I was really trying to switch topics, but I got to answer that question.
Well, you didn't tell us what your favorite Michael Jackson song was. Sir.
Number 2 is Dirty Diana.
Okay.
Number 2 is Dirty. I know the lyrics. I can say it. And when The Weeknd did his version, I liked it, but I didn't love it like I loved the first one.
Some things you just can't touch, man. Just leave it
but
alone.
The Weeknd did a good rendition. You know, I like The Weeknd.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying?
Go listen
but
to
my
it.
number 1 is Off the Wall.
Off the Wall is a good one.
Yeah.
Same album as Rock With You.
Yes,
Hey,
it is.
living off the wall. Oh, that's
That
man.
9 to 5 up on the shelf.
And it's
And
still
just
relevant till
enjoy
today.
yourself.
Think about that.
Yeah, bro. That's why we talking about Labor Day.
Hey.
Michael Jackson.
Hey. Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. So
Real.
rest in peace to him, man. The name would never go away. So happy belated birthday, because his birthday was last week, right?
Last Thursday.
66. Yeah, happy belated birthday to Michael Jackson, man. What else we got, man?
Well, you know what I'm saying? Being that Michael Jackson was 66, even though he was the king of pop and probably was almost the closest human being to being a trillionaire, he still had Social Security. And with this being said, Social Security applications has gotten an update. And it's not just any update. Guess what? It's an online process now. G-Mo, tell us a little bit more about this process.
Oh, yeah. So, basically, they done took that SSI application and they moved it online.
Yeah.
So, the good thing is, right, something that's been like a burdensome of a process, they're simplifying it. I mean, the reason why I wanted to talk about this, because we do, give news that you can use. I think all of us have someone that may need to benefit from SSI, right? I got family members, and it's not always just grandparents, because I think when you bring up a discussion like SSI, I think most people will kind of default to like grandparents and stuff like that. Yeah. But if you get injured, like get a long-term injury, you may have to use those benefits to get your family to survive. You know what I mean? Yeah. We need that stuff. So here's a quote over here from the director of Social Security, and the quote is, pull this thing over here. The framework of the SSI program will not change. However, we recognize that the current process is burdensome and challenging for the public, and we are doing what we can to reduce the burden and improve access to SSI. And that's according to nextgov.com. So again, the goal is to make it easier. So if you or someone in your family, someone needs that benefit, let them know they could do it online. They're rolling it out now. And the first cohort of folks that can use the online application is applicants between 18 and 65 who have never been married and are concurrently applying for Social Security benefits. So definitely take that, spread the news on that. That's something important, because we need our benefits back.
Yes, you do. And a lot of people don't understand you don't have to be a senior citizen or 55 years of age because of Social Security. You never know. There could have been a disability that occurred to you where you need to tap into that resources, or you could have possibly had a life-threatening issue where you came back from, but you can't work a normal job. So you need to be able to pull from the funds that you had already paid into. And I believe that this is going to allow people to be able to streamline the process. Of course, there's going to be some bad actors in the beginning, and there always are. However, I believe since they're rolling it out, the better, the more it's being used, the better it'll get to the point where it's streamlined. Where then they'll probably have an app where, somebody can be able to click, boom. Because of the fact that, a lot of elders, a lot of seasoned folk are having trouble with using the internet, but they know how to use apps. You know why?
True.
Because a lot of people, especially senior citizens and older people, do know how to send you Cash App requests because I've got you send me $5 for me to get some coffee.
Honey,
Boom. Okay,
can you send your grandma a little bit of change?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I want something for the
figure
slides.
that
I want something for the slides. Like, okay, well, here you go. $15. Go ahead, play big. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
But the thing about it, and that's what applications were for us to use.
Yeah,
Be able to use the web a lot seamless and simple because of the fact that internet can be overwhelming for the senior citizens. And I truly believe that there's a market for an advocate assistance with technology. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
AAT, Advocate Assistance for Technology. Hey, it's out there. We have the news that you can use.
Did you just coin that, or is that something that's out there?
That's not out there. I'm throwing that out there. Here's the thing. I am a lot of people don't know this, and they will do once they see us on. I'm a funnel from God, right? God be throwing stuff out there. He uses me to get it out there through multiple platforms. So, and it's not for me to do because the Lord knows I don't want to do that. And like again, He knows I don't want to do that, but He can trust me to get the information out there. So there it go. You know what I'm saying? Advocates Assistance for Technology.
Advocates Assistance for Technology. I like that. And then I'm gonna throw it out there too for anyone I'm connected that follow me, you know, for all the tech stuff. A lot of times people that run into the issue of getting experience, right? For trying to get tech and cybersecurity jobs. If they were to do something like that and help, you know, the elderly, kind of train them and show them and teach them things, you could clock them hours on that resume, you feel me?
Yeah,
and use it because you don't have to have paid experience. You just need experience. That's a great way to give back, pay it forward, right?
Yeah.
And get some experience you can leverage on that resume. I like that.
Yeah. Ooh. And you know,
Grandma, you just went off on my timesheet real quick.
And I'm gonna have to use you as a reference, Grandma.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's the thing about it. It's solving with new. Okay, how millionaires become millionaires, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is because they find a solution to a big problem.
Yep.
And sometimes the problem is bigger than the average Joe is willing to take on. That's why somebody who has the skill set to be like, oh, I can create this app, I can do this. Let me go ahead and test it out with my parents. Yeah, it works. Okay, let me go ahead and go to a company that will be able to fund me creating it, not letting them know what the right hand is doing, but the left hand is saying, hey, we need about 100,000 to build this technology, and then we already have some people who we know we could test it with. So they would probably shoot that money over to this corporation because the person who's smart enough can create a nonprofit because that can go into there, boom, create this, and now you get funding, and then you get contracts for you to be able to do this to help people. So that's how millionaires become millionaires.
Yeah, it's all problem.
It's not by saving money. It's by finding a solution to a problem and then
solve the problem for a lot of people.
Yeah. So solve the problem, find the money that's not yours to fix the problem.
Touche. That's
why we're the tech news you can use.
You can use, baby. We got news you can use and tech news you can use. We got you covered. We got, speaking of tech though, I think that was a good transition to the next topic. What we got for the next topic, sir?
All right, man. Come on. Now, you know, that good old piece of fruit that has that bite inside of it, we call them apple. Oh. But you know what? A lot of people are taking apples. So Apple is moving in the space of AI, right? And maybe they didn't think they were the top giggity dogs because they said they gave people opt-out clauses so they won't be able to use their their information. And guess what? The big dogs opt out. They was like, okay, yeah. You giving us the opt, and we go take the opportunity. Bobby, can you bring it home with us on that information? Because you was the one who gave us some green light on this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was checking out some different tech topics that were happening, and one of the things I had brought up was that Apple was wanting to use different company platforms like Facebook. Facebook was one of the big companies that said no, absolutely not, and use their data for what they call data training. And this data training is how the AI, it's how those algorithms are formed with the artificial intelligence. They're able to go in and based off the way data is trained, they're going to go and try to pull off of people's Facebooks to try to develop artificial intelligence tailored to certain people. And Facebook will warn the people, said, no, not us. I want nothing to do with this. And they opted out. There were other few companies that did the same thing, but Facebook was the biggest one that stood out to me, considering the millions, maybe even billions of people that use their platform right now to connect with each other. And so if you allow technology to come in there and begin to build off of the bad seed.
I had to do it. Go ahead, Bobby. I'm sorry.
It's okay. By allowing access to use people's data, especially without their knowledge, if Facebook doesn't have something like that in their original clause, whenever you agree to sign on to a Facebook account, they can't be adding in things later on that their users are unaware of and stuff. So that would be bad policy for Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg's already been in the news a lot lately, and this just would kind of add on to the BS that he's kind of got going for him right now. So.
You know what this reminded me of, Corey? It reminded me that data is the new drug,
and AI is the new plug.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this since we started this podcast, right? Data is that hot commodity, man.
Data drives decisions, including artificial intelligent decisions.
3D. Oh,
there you go.
Data drives decisions.
3D. Oh man, hold on. I gotta write this in my notes, man. Hold on. Yeah. Hey, the learning never stops, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all that the learning never stops. I gotta put that in my notes.
Yeah. I need to put that on the app. D. Well, I don't know, because somebody may think I'm talking about breast. I don't want that to be.
Those D's on the. Oh no, hold on.
Like triple D's. What's that? Oh no, my
bad. My bad.
Data drive decision.
Hey, I mean,
data. Like, oh, okay. How long did it take you to come up with that?
Data drive decision. Hey, man, data is the gold out here, man. For real. So, a couple of things I want to throw to get a little bit more technical. I'm about to be the tech Von Gogh right now. So basically, what was happening was there's a bot, the Apple bot, and everyone with an Apple phone knows about that Apple bot, because that Apple bot is what was crawling the web every time you said, "Hey Siri," and that bot was the one going collecting that information for you, right? So what Apple did was they updated that bot, right? There you go. There, you know about that. I got an Android, so I don't rock with that. But anyway,
don't say her name too many times though, because she started popping up. Everything around my house started moving.
Ready to serve you, Corey Giovanni.
I know, right?
So the file was robots.txt. That's what was pushed out to the big dogs that y'all been talking about. And the big dogs, Tumblr, Craigslist, Instagram, Facebook, New York Times, Financial Times, and more, they were like, we're just gonna go ahead and update this bot and say, nah, fam. Access denied.
Nah, fam.
Yep. So I would go on a limb and say that I'm thinking Apple was kind of surprised, because I think Apple, for the longest time, they've been the big dog, and I'm thinking they assume, them like, we're Apple, everyone's gonna be down with us.
You're not gonna reject me.
I know, right?
Be rejected.
Hence, they are the bad seed. That's the reason why I said, because they just think that, everybody wants to spend $1,000 for their phones. And you know what? They were right, because if you look at Apple, shout out to Apple, that's coming on September 10th next week, when they're going to be unveiling the new iPhone. However, the proof is in the purchase. Apple has been going up and
another
up. Yeah,
the proof is in the purchase. Hey, yeah, that man is on fire.
However, their colleagues are like, nah. You feel what I'm saying? Get your own AI. Get your own.
Nah, for real. The proof is in the purchase with their devices, but that's you talking apples and oranges. AI is the oranges. They're like, we trust you with our devices. We'll pay for the device, but we're not letting you get access to our data.
But I can guarantee you this: when that new iPhone rolls out, there's going to be something inside there for the users. We will be able to monitor and use your activity on third-party sites that are not Apple, so they can be able to get that information if you choose to accept to use this $1,000 phone you already paid for. That if you return, you have to pay a $25% restocking fee. So that means you go and say, you know what? Nah.
They're gonna get it anyway.
Then they're gonna be like, well, I can't use my phone. How come my browser ain't working? Well, it shows that you opt out once you created your sign in with all your information from your other device. So in order for you to use this, you either need to opt in so we can track all your information, or go return your phone. And some people may just go ahead and return their phone. But when they get to that Apple store, oh, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry it didn't work for you. However, there's a 25% restocking fee. Bling, 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 bling. Lights. 25%. Yeah, so that $1,000 iPhone that you purchased, you only getting $750 of it back. That's a quarter. You know what I can do with $250?
A lot.
You know what I can? Yeah, I can buy a Nintendo Switch. I can buy a Nintendo Switch.
Hey, I've been a single father pimp. I'll make that stretch, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Come
Exactly.
on.
So meantime,
Shout out to all my single parents out there. We make that 250 stretch, boy.
Oh yeah, make it stretch. Stretch.
Like Mr. Fantastic. Hey. So you know what you was talking about? The way Apple might come up with some loopholes reminded me of Fleece Johnson. Remember Fleece Johnson? I can't say his nickname because I don't want to be flagged.
Okay.
He had a saying. It was like, we can do this the easy way, or we could do this the hard way. The choice is yours. I'm gonna get that data. They gonna get that data one way or another, Bobby. They want it. They want that data, bro.
That's what I was gonna say. It's almost scary. There's not even an option at this point to choose not to be, recorded, watched. You don't even have a choice at this point. You want to use this phone, you better let us watch you. That goes back to the topic of tech overreach. I don't want you to. You don't need this data. And then the other side of this, and like, what do you want my data for? Why do you want to know what I'm looking at on Amazon? How is this going to affect you?
Right.
Well, why do you care what nail polish I decide to buy today? How is that affecting you?
Yeah. And that's why we really want to put that awareness out there, man. Be stingy with your data. Be stingy. Don't share it. Just don't share it to any and everybody. Don't just be enabling all the cookies on the websites. Just only enable the ones that are necessary, because they trying to get your data, dog. Like Bobby said, why you need all this information about me? I don't know you like that.
I can tell you why. And Bobby told us earlier. Data drives decisions.
3D, baby. 3D. Nah. No, so I mean, again, right? There's so many things going on in the business world that's, what do they say? Success leaves clues, right? There's so many clues out there telling you protect your damn data, man. Wu-Tang said protect your neck. We're telling you protect your data. Okay, protect that thing. What else?
Be mindful of what you share. With certain companies. I don't want to give too much advice on this, but I mean, if I know some people who put on their Facebook profile whatever their birthday is, it ain't their real birthday. Like it's I mean, some of the stuff is made up, because there's less of a chance of your data being used against you if they don't got the right data to begin with.
Good point.
So,
this is good. And
if it's not really necessary, like I'm not telling you to lie on bank applications, nothing like that, but something like social media is for the sheer form of entertainment and communication. You don't even know what day and year I was born. How is that relevant to you? I'm just a user here. Nothing there says I need to give you my real name. I don't need to give you my real workplace history like they tell you. They begin building personal profiles, and when you're honest about what you're putting up there, you might leave yourself liable to be set up for some sort of a hacking attempt.
Good point.
So I make sure when I look on social media, if I see a Roberta Lopez, that ain't you.
That ain't me. That is not me,
That is
man.
not you. But yo, real talk, and I'm gonna put a pin in it right here. But we're gonna touch this next week. Companies are now telling you to go to their websites to click on "Do not sell my information." Now, and normally they would ask you, do you want to opt out of your information being sold? Now they're automatically telling you if you don't want your information being sold, you must go to the website and request that it's not. Now, how many of us won't take that extra step and go to that website? Because I've seen it done with State Farm. I've seen it done with Walmart. So it's a couple other companies out there that is doing that. So keep in mind what you would do, because I've also seen it on another social media app. I can't remember which one, but you have to go to the very bottom of the page of the actual web browser, because it's probably not in the app. And then when you look at it, it says, click here if you do not want your information sold. That shows me that if a company has to make you go extra steps to use their services, who are these companies in bed with?
Good point.
Right?
We're gonna dig
So
deeper.
We're gonna dig deep into that, and we're gonna have some answers for you next week.
Yeah.
We're bringing it back like 4 flats on a Cadillac with a broke back.
Hey.
FAA has new cyber rules for airplanes and aviation. So can we say this is FAA's no-fly zone?
Hey, no
So
fly.
in the meantime, between time as we rewind,
Zone.
G-Mo, take it to the flow. Tell us more about this.
All right, so now I got to put my governance hat on. It's been a while since I put that thing on. So what's the best way to describe it? All right, so when you know every plane has to get a safety inspection before it takes off, right? I think fair enough. Most people know that, right? If it doesn't pass safety inspection, that thing's not gonna fly. No. So with this new requirement right here, and again, this is coming from nextgov.com, FAA is proposing new regulation that would require passenger airplanes to pass cybersecurity inspections before takeoff. So basically, just imagine now they're putting an extra step in that safety inspection is going to be a cybersecurity inspection. Now, hear me out. We live in a connected world. Everything is connected, right? Remember when the smart cars started getting smarter and they started getting hacked and driving off in the ditches and stuff like that? Basically, what the FAA is trying to prevent is that happening to your flight. They don't want you being in a flight and it's like passenger 57. Remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
Someone's trying to take over the flight. They wouldn't even have to be on the flight no more. They could potentially hack that plane or some equipment on that plane to get access to critical tools on that plane to take over your flight. That's what they're trying to prevent. That's what they're trying to prevent. So, and that's just kind of summarizing the whole thing, but that's the simplest version of that, man. So that's on one thing. What you think about that, Bobby?
So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, my husband and I've done drone photography, and we have to follow FAA guidelines. I say we because we work together as a team, because he wears a special like cyber goggles over his face as he's flying so he can see what's happening in real time.
Nice.
And while he has those on, he has to focus on his surroundings. So while he's doing that, I'm actually doing a bodyguard type of job for him and protecting his back. So I watch out for him. I watch him what he's doing. I watch the drone, and as he brings it in, I'll grab it so it doesn't touch the ground and stuff. So I think the idea of the cyber regulations, I think the FAA is actually very late to the game, if you ask me. I think they're late to the game. I think that the idea of planes being hacked was probably something that probably could have been done actually several years ago. But also, too, I kind of have a conspiracy hat on. So has something happened? Has something happened that hasn't been reported?
Good point. Good point.
That caused this. All of a sudden, we need to put in cybersecurity guidelines. So what's happening? The FAA not always being the moment I hear federal inside of something, I'm like, I got questions. Who's not saying what?
Yeah. Because there was a plane, I believe it was a flight, Malaysia flight, that went up in the air and did not come back down.
Oh, that's that one they never found, huh?
That was years ago. They're
That was
saying
years ago.
that plane. How does a plane with over 200 passengers on it just up and disappear? How?
Gone.
In this day and age, how?
Aliens?
I ain't gonna tell you what I ain't gonna tell you what I think. Okay.
Oh no,
You know
I want to hear what you got to think. I want to know what you
brought
think.
it up. You gotta say it now.
Okay.
You
So,
know.
you know what I'm saying? The aliens then came and they were flying, because we have seen it's no longer called UFOs. It's called another Geronimo, you know this because you're an airman. That there are other flying things out there. I'm not gonna say you know about aliens, but you know, I've done my research. And I've seen people sit before judges and say that
there's certain things I just don't know.
Yeah. But I believe that what could possibly happen is two things. One, there was somebody on that plane that was some sort of importance they needed to get rid of. I don't say they, I'm just saying they, somebody. So they probably did hack that plane and took it to the possible highest altitude where it could have exploded, and then all the stuff, debris could have exploded or disintegrated without falling where you couldn't have known, right? So unless
they were traveling over water, but I could have sworn there was something saying they found the black box.
Right.
I think I do remember that.
This is, mind you, that's an older story. But when that happened, I thought to myself, I'm like, there ain't no way, because even if something happened and they're traveling over an ocean, there's so many liners going through, they would have found something connected to it. And now it's still kind of sketchy. Everything, I feel like I read something within the last month saying they believe they found pieces of the airplane all these years later. I'm like, what?
And I mean, and that could definitely be possible. And then here goes my alien theory. You know, the whole plane been abducted by a mothership. Whoop, boom. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, that ain't even out of the realm of possibilities these days. I'm like, shit, maybe it was aliens.
I'm just saying. And some people may think I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I believe there's some things that God created that we haven't discovered yet, right? And
for sure.
We think that aliens are, you know what I'm saying, could be undiscovered. I mean, in the Bible it says creepy things and flying fowls. You know, that could possibly be a flying fowl that nobody has ever tapped into. So hey, there we go. That's my insinuation.
There you
aliens
go.
Took
Aliens took it. Hey, and it probably got hacked. I don't know. It could be a combination, either or. Real quick, before I give me some final thoughts on that, we did get some love on here from Bangladesh. Amen PPF. I don't know how you say your name, but he's checking in from Bangladesh. Hey, shout out to you.
Shout out.
Unstoppable Season just checked in and said happy Labor Day. Technically speaking, happy Labor Day,
brother. My brother.
We had some good barbecue or something. But back to the FAA thing. So a couple of things when I was listening to y'all, you make a good point, Bobby, as far as them kind of being late in the game with pushing out cybersecurity policies to protect flights. Because I remember years ago, at least 11 years ago, I was in the shop and we were responsible for some cybersecurity aspects of C5s, right? And if certain things weren't done from our side, that plane couldn't take off. And they had to go meet their sorties, right? So good point. I never even thought about that. I mean, we've been doing it in the military for years, but I never stopped to think about the private sector counterpart to that, right? Something happened. To your point of why now? Something happened.
I know. So they've been, just like you said, 11 years ago. I didn't want to say the word, but it's true. They're like a decade past where they should have.
Private sector. I mean, military, we've been doing it, right? Yeah, they're behind the curve on that. Good point. It's like they say, why do we have dumb rules? Because people do dumb things, right? Yeah. Something happened. We haven't heard about it.
The third contract I worked on for the Air Force was for the Air Education Training Command for AETC. I was a configuration manager for there, and I had to I configured the iPads that the pilots would use in the cockpit. They called them EFBs. They're electronic flight bags.
Yep, I remember those.
They had all their manuals on them. They had stuff about the weather. They had all sorts of things. I had to be able to approve or disapprove some of the app requests that they had come on there. But the biggest thing is we had to determine if everything on that iPad had to be what we consider airworthy. And when it comes to what determines airworthiness, the cyber guidelines should be on the very foundation of what that looks like. So the Federal Aviation Authority is definitely far behind on this. The possibility of this even happening was years ago. So I'm like, why now? What's going on that you're bringing this like all of a sudden? Like, how did y'all not know this? Who's working for y'all that somebody, whatever techie person is working for y'all said, hey, maybe we should have these guidelines. Maybe we should put this into our standard operating procedure before flights take off, considering the fact that they've always had over 150, 200 people on board who paid hundreds of dollars to go fly wherever they want. Isn't that enough? If you save one person's life, it would be worth it, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. Money well spent. Yeah. So I want to end this on a positive note. So again, I'm always looking for where's the win for the tech community. This is yet another win for the cybersecurity field because they're gonna need a cybersecurity professional with that safety team that's gonna check all the boxes to make sure, we're meeting all requirements, we're compliant, we're safe to go. You know what I'm saying? On top of one, that's the governance piece, right? But then you need that network defender, cybersecurity defender to make sure they're guarding from any threats trying to attack that plane. You get what I'm saying? So
that's
again,
gonna go hand in hand with making sure that any of electronics that are either connected to the internet or where they do in-network, out-of-network data transfer somewhere, that all of that stuff is going to be absolutely updated. Any patches are going to be done. But then also at the same time too, depending on when they decide to implement these cybersecurity guidelines, does that also mean that the amount of time it takes to actually onboard a flight to get from the area up into the air, is that gonna mean an additional 30 minutes onto your actual flight time? Like, what does that look like for passengers? How does it affect them?
Good point. Hey, you know what? Good, because I mean, you've had delays because of safety failures, right?
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
could be another source of delays for a flight. You know what I mean? Like, it'll definitely add some inconvenience to the mix.
I don't want to be sitting on a tarmac for 2 hours.
But I'd rather sit on the tarmac than be in the air and saying, we got to go down.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'll give you 2 extra hours of my life so I can still have a life.
Like,
so we don't
Lord, don't let me feel nothing. Lord, make it quick.
Like, for real,
I do every time I'm flying. I always sit next to the window, and I was the first thing I do. I'm like, man, this is beautiful. I was like, all right, got it. This is the last thing I see. I'm okay, but just make it quick.
Oh, you want that Erica Badu? Can I get a window seat?
Don't want nobody.
Hey, what else we got?
In the meantime, in between time, Telegram CEO is arrested in France. Now, can I just say something?
Yes.
And looking into Telegram, right? I want to make sure I'm saying the right. Telegram is that app, right?
Yes.
They got the plane on it, right? There's a lot of fraud that's been done with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I noticed that everybody who follows me on Instagram, who's like, hey, I can do XYZ for you, hits me with a Telegram link. I'm like, fam, nah. How you gonna hit me on Instagram about Telegram? That just don't make sense.
Why don't you just tell me right here and now
about why the CEO is arrested in France? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to keep the governance hat on.
Keep it on.
You put me to work today, man. So the article, this is from Fortune magazine. It's basically Elon Musk coming to Pavel Durov, the CEO there you go, the CEO of Telegram. He came to his defense because that's setting precedent, right? So I mean, if countries start going after owners of social media platforms
for what other people are choosing to post, not a personal opinion of their own, where are we drawing the line with free speech then?
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. That's the discussion. That's the
You
discussion.
don't have the right to not be offended. Because if that's the case, ain't nobody gonna speak their mind anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yep.
That's the overreach. Too
Yeah.
much overreach.
I mean, so we were talking earlier overreach from tech overreaching. Now we're talking maybe the overreach of governments in the tech
Government.
spaces. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we're in a weird time right now because this is all basically governance and policy driven. What happened to Pavel Durov, right?
Yeah.
He got arrested because Telegram just wasn't following the policies in France, right? So and the question is coming out, is Elon Musk next, right? Because and that's why he was coming to that guy's defense, because he's like, well, shoot, I'm not trying to be the next one because of what, to your point, Bobby, people are saying on X. You get what I'm saying? Because it's, to your point, should, you know, the CEOs of platforms like Telegram and X be held accountable for what the users are doing?
No.
That slippery slope.
I'm telling you, it is a very slippery slope, and I don't think that's even something that we want to go on, because then you're going to be jailing people because they don't think the way that you do.
Now, kind of like Corey's point, there are people running scams on Telegram. I've seen them, and when it pops up, a lot of cryptocurrency scams are being ran on Telegram. I block them all; they come through.
WhatsApp too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I mean, I just block them. You know what I mean? There is a quote though, and this is from a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. He testified at one of Trump's first impeachment, and he was quoted saying that there's a growing intolerance for platform and disinformation and malign influence, and a growing appetite for accountability. So, I mean, us military folks, veterans and whatnot, right? We understand the dangers of propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Especially the season we're in right now, right? Where the people are trying to battle misinformation and stuff like that, because propaganda can win or lose wars. You know what I mean? So I don't know the full depth of what really drove France to arrest this guy. I don't know if there's any type of like propaganda going on. I haven't seen anything like that on Telegram. I mean, there's a lot of, wild stuff on X and whatnot, because that's just the wild west nowadays, man.
X is just like, it's exactly what it is. It's X. Like, you do not know. X. Yeah, it's like, I'm like, wait a minute, what am I looking at? Oh no, I'm not supposed to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, I think the takeaway from this is that pen is truly mightier than the sword, right? Because Elon Musk can say what he wants to say, right? But at the end of the day, countries with their policies, them things is gonna go. And I think
it's a double-edged sword, because we have we love our free speech, but at the same time, when we walk that line, that means that people also have the freedom to spread disinformation, whether it be for likes or for clout, whatever that looks like. That kind of goes hand in hand with it, unfortunately, and it sucks, but it is part of it. Anybody from anywhere can start rumors. They start cheeseman all over the place. It could be so unreal. I click on stuff sometimes. I was like, man, like, I'm not even trying to be chismosa or nothing, but I'm like, y'all, like, this ain't even true. Like, I know, but I just got like 150 clicks. I'm like, what? Well, I could be doing some personal responsibility and go and taking a look on different sources, and if you got 3 or 4 different sources and they're all matching up, okay, maybe chances are it's not so bad. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the double-edged sword. You have the right to spread misinformation, and you have the right to try to share the truth as you see fit. So
and you know what? And I think that's where a lot of questions come up, because what is it? Is it the First Amendment, right, for freedom of speech?
It is the First Amendment, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's no way they could have accounted for what we have now, right? They could not have accounted.
Falls into freedom of the press.
Say what now?
So social media would fall into the freedom of the press.
Is that implied or is that written?
No, I mean no, because they didn't. The founders, the original, obviously our founding fathers didn't know or couldn't fathom the idea of what social media is going to be because they couldn't foresee the future. But the freedom of the press gives you the opportunity to be able to distribute, right? Even if it's technologically related, you're able to distribute that information. Somebody can't stop you from putting out, anything into the press, anything into the news, basically. Even if it's misinformation, doesn't make it okay. But you have to be smart about what it is that you're looking at. Look at your sources. Be like, all right, don't go to the Babylon Bee for news.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. and my question
Babylon
be,
Bee.
A satire.
Do we really have that right? And I think we may have to default to what you said because I think it's still in development. You know what I mean? Because that goes into my lane with governance. I would have to go back and read that. And I think they're going to have to maybe come out with another amendment. I had asked that question a few episodes ago, and Dr. Poole was like, I think there's going to be an additional amendment to address that, right? Because it's not really spelled out. You know what I'm saying? To where, do we really have that right? I don't think we know, because no one spelled that out. We couldn't spell that out. When you get into governance and policies, things have to be spelled out per verbatim. You know what I mean? I don't think it was never addressed. So I think we can ride on that because there's no precedent to say otherwise. And that's why I think Elon Musk is so kind of on alert, because if whatever happens to the CEO of Telegram is going to set that precedent for other CEOs of other technology companies. You know what I'm saying? He would probably be the first. And then that may influence what direction, say, an amendment to the First Amendment goes in to address social media, because we don't know. You know what I mean?
Here's where I think that you're going to kind of go into some muddy water. Is you're going to have people who want to say, well, the truth is this, and my truth is going to look different from Corey's truth, who's going to look different from your truth. So who gets to be the ultimate, factor, and to say, well, no, that's not the truth. This is, but is it?
And you know what? And I think
when you begin to redefine what truth looks like, and you begin to cover up the actual truth, you get told a lie 100 times, you begin to believe that lie. It becomes truth, but that doesn't make it truth. And
good point.
Muddy water.
Question of who makes that decision, like what makes true? I think us being in election season, you better know your who you're voting for, right? And I'm not talking federal president, I'm talking all the way up, right? From local city all the way up, because I think the people that get put in Congress, et cetera, those are going to be the ones that have those discussions to actually say, okay, let's define what is the truth. And they're going to be the ones that will put up the constraints to say, it has to be within this, and this is what we define as the truth. So you better know who you're voting for, because you want to make sure you have the people in there representing you the right way, because it's gonna fall on them, right? I can tell you right now, there's so many different cyber policies, AI policies that Congress is working on, and then some of their subordinates like CISA and others, right? There's a bunch of organizations out there drafting up different cyber policies. So make sure you get your state representatives, senators, congressmen, like the right people in place. Because the president is not really going to deal with that. It's going to be them. So to answer your question, I think those are going to be the people having those conversations and drafting bills, and maybe even an amendment to address that.
So this is a good topic, because this is for the viewers to let y'all know. I'm gonna go into a segment. It's not gonna be today, but we are gonna talk about the Electoral College, and the foundation of how the Electoral College works goes back to who are you voting for in the lower elections. Don't just show up for federal elections. Show up. Don't be talking trash for 4 years and then try to go vote for a president. No, I'm serious. Trust me, we got this conversation all the time. Like, why are you talking crap? Like, you didn't have showed up to the polls. Maybe your voice could have been the determining factor, but the people who you elect are your electors.
Yes.
Texas is the largest of the 48 continental United States. So we have 40 electors. So when we go and we are their constituents, they are supposed to be there to advocate for us to the United States government. So who you vote for, how they vote is going to make a lot of determination on what things look like on a federal level.
Yes.
And it's the
And
truth.
disclaimer, I'm gonna put this out there. We're not telling you who to vote for. We're just telling you to know who you're voting for, and make sure you're voting for the people that are right for you.
Right. And just how the process works. Every time we come to the election season, people are like, why do we need the electoral college? I'm like, it really takes a simple Google search.
I'm one of those people. Yeah, to go and take a look, because everybody thinks, it's based off of the popular vote, but I'm like, no, it's not, because once you do that, you remove the voices from like 60% of the United States. How is that? Like, how is that fair? Good point.
And so there is a reason for it.
No. Now, don't give away the milk for free. Now that's gonna be for another episode.
Come on back. I'm gonna explain it, and I'm gonna make sure to give you some resources so that we're gonna give you the news that you can use inside your home and outside your home, and even in the voting booth. We will not tell you who to vote for, but always be conscious of who the people that you want advocating for you to be your voice.
There you go. In other words,
always encourage doing the research.
Vote, don't
choke. There you go.
I would put a read in front of that. Read, then vote, don't choke. Because I don't want people just going out, making ill-informed decisions either. But speaking of reading, right? I think a lot of people read. We were talking about X, and this is a good way to end this episode, right? X is still gonna be talked about. Because what just happened to X?
A judge has banned X in Brazil. So TikTok ain't the only platform that's having problems, baby. You know what I'm saying? X seems to be banned in Brazil because there was a lot of fake news being spread. And guess what? 215 people responded to the government request saying, shut it down. So Brazil gave them the X.
Hey!
And
X got the X.
X got the X. Oh man, you're already on it.
You know what I'm saying? So Elon Musk, you are not above the people.
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
Especially the Brazilian people.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, never mind. I'm not even gonna go there either. However, you know what I'm saying? I think this is the people in Brazil standing up for their country.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm glad that we see things like this because, we've known in the past that TikTok has been having some trouble with the U.S. government. And Brazil went ahead and just did it. They just they pressed the button on it. Done. It's done. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I was also at first for TikTok, and I'm not against it anymore. But I do say this: if you're doing things that's unethical and you have a billion people or a million people doing things unethical, you need to be shut down because somehow somebody who's less fortunate, because I'm for the little guy who's less fortunate
always,
and it's hard for them to bounce back from a tragic incident. They will be more affected than somebody who has rocket ships that can go out of this country. Go out of the world. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Hey, I mean, maybe Elon Musk got a little too big for his britches. Brazil tell him, nah, fam. Nope. And to your point about TikTok, I don't understand why it's taking so long for it to get blocked here. If that's you gonna do it, do it.
Well, they gave it to the Biden administration. The Biden administration, because it was Biden's ruling, gave them till the end of January.
It was originally supposed to be this month, September, right? I remember that.
Yeah.
And they got pushed to January. So, I mean, hey, anybody can be touched by policies.
Yes.
Because that was another policy-driven thing, right?
There it was. Yes, it was.
Pen is mightier than a sword, let me tell you. And there's other countries that scrutinizing X too. Brazil was just one of the first ones to pull that plug. You're out of here. Yup. What's your thoughts on that, Bobby?
So I was gonna try to stay quiet because everybody's got their own opinions, but we kind of go back to what I just told you a little while ago. Is if Brazil is trying to remove X, right, from their people trying to use it, why is the Brazilian government, being the final determination on what they define as truth? If there's let's say there's different news articles being spread around about stuff that's going to affect the little people, and they don't want little people to find out about it. What if my little conspiracy hat on, what if they're actually just trying to deter you from the actual truth by taking X out of being able to be provided to the people? I'm not saying that's the thing, but in my mind, I'm like, but why though? You can't say because of misinformation, because that's literally everywhere. It's everywhere. But for a government to come in and say, well, we don't want this specific one here. We don't want this specific platform here, but you'll allow all these others when they can do just the same type of damage? Why X? Why Elon?
Corey, you said earlier that the constituents kind of requested that, and the government obliged.
Yeah. See,
about 215, but I didn't catch on to what the 215 were. Were they their electors?
Well, it says the government to request to suspend accounts found to be spreading fake news. So pretty much, I look at it like this.
Wait,
a lot of other countries aren't as free as America.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And because of the fact that they don't have the power to be free, some of them need to have certain laws. Because I remember Brazilian was one of them countries that was it was really kind of, before I believe they started promoting the tourism and all that. It was very harsh area over there. And if they had a government that came in and straightened things out and got some order, the first thing they want to do is prevent them from going back to that type of country. Because
very volatile.
You don't want that. And anything fake news, they can say, oh, the president of this company based out in Brazil sleeping with all his female employees, and it's fake news. And then one of those persons who's part of the militia can rise up and say, okay, we about to go get him. And it's fake news. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the reason being, they just trying to see why cover their ass to be the, you know what I'm saying? Excuse those who, I don't curse, but you know what I'm saying? Assets. That's what ass stands for, plural. Assets.
If data drives decisions, I'm curious, would they be willing to share data with the public and say, because of X, Y, and Z, these 1,900 accounts that have been known to spread fake news are the ones that are no longer going to be able to use X anymore or whatever? Where's your data at?
The Brazilian government or?
Yeah, no, the Brazilian government. Where's your data to back up your policy, right?
I don't know how their government is set up. I don't know if they even have to. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think here.
No, you're right. They might not even have to say anything. They could just be like, "Doop, write it, and that's it. New policy."
Yeah.
I think we're accustomed to the freedoms and rights we have here in the U.S.
Right.
And I think going back to TikTok, right? We've had these discussions, Bobby, several times, right? If it comes to the point to where Congress decides to just block TikTok, I think what's gonna happen is the public, the people, constituents are gonna be like, you better show proof. And I think what'll happen with that is some documents will have to be declassified to show that proof, right? Because when the people speak, our government has to oblige, right? To your point, people are gonna be like, show us the proof that this is a real danger. I don't know what's going on. I'm just speculating that there may be documents out there classified that'll give the public all the proof they want, right? I don't know if they have that same type of system in Brazil. I can't even, I don't know.
I don't know. I pay attention to American politics because kind of like anything else around the world doesn't directly affect me and my family. Yeah. Not that I don't care, it just doesn't directly affect me.
Right.
So what happens in Brazil, they can get rid of X, they can keep X. I don't really care, but I know it's been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. I know Elon's definitely been in the news a lot lately, but you know, kind of brings up the interesting topic. Gee, I know you and I know, but why is it for those, because it might be a hard topic because people don't want to hear it. Why should TikTok be banned here in the United States?
To be honest, I don't know.
I mean,
I thought we were gonna
here's the thing. And Geronimo made it clear. Why it should be banned is because of the fact that another country who don't handle our policies or who don't handle our partnership with that company well is housing most of the data, right? Data, like you guys said, data drives decisions. If all the information is being stored in China, right? And we can't have access to it, or you know, we can, but we got to go through loopholes, and then we find out that China TikTok is not the same TikTok as it is in America.
They don't even have TikTok. They have a whole different product.
Yeah, but they still use it like TikTok. But it's called something else. Then that makes you think something's fishy. Why isn't our platform, the platform you gave America, as good as over in America for your country?
So, and good point, right? And Bobby, the reason why I said I don't know, because after several discussions, right, I'm the biggest advocate for blocking it because I know of the potential threat. You know what I'm saying?
So that's where I kind of wanted you to speak on why is it that we do it, you know?
It's a huge potential threat, right? And we have friends in the Intel community. They won't say specifically, but they kind of allude to, right? And they don't even have to say a lot. And I've worked with Intel communities, right? And I know when people in the Intel community start talking, they're talking for a reason, right? Yeah. And because this is really an intelligence concern, right? So which I think most people they just brush over stuff like that. But when I started like reading about the potential intelligence threats, that's what made me be like, oh, holy guacamole, we need to block this thing, right? Yeah. Because I see that it can be a huge potential threat. We opened up earlier on in this, right? We got to say it again. Data is the new drug.
AI is the new plug.
You collect enough data about an adversary of yours, right? You can triangulate that data and basically get whatever you need. That's one potential threat. Another potential threat, we talked about it earlier with propaganda, right? You can use propaganda to sway the thoughts. Like you said it earlier, Bobby, you tell a lie enough, eventually your brain will think it's the truth, right? That's another intelligence threat that's out there, to where there's been reports out there that the people that are controlling TikTok are pushing things out to our children and just the regular public to influence the way we think, right? Influence certain decisions, maybe even trying to influence the way we vote, right?
Using a lot of AI, you can essentially, redefine what normal is by using something fake and make it
exactly.
You don't know what you're looking at actually is or is not true. You got to be able to discern what those things look like.
Yes.
I agree.
And to your point about discernment, everything that I'm talking about is all speculation until the government actually shares like hard, tangible data. I'm speculating. I can admit to say I'm speculating because I know of potential threats, right? I'm gonna throw that out there. And again, that's why I said earlier, I think that it's gonna come to that point to where the people we've appointed in certain positions are gonna have to make that decision to maybe declassify and show us what the real threats are, right? I have my educated guesses, right? And then I'm purely speculating for anyone out there, right? But I think that's really what it's coming down to. But, in our experience being in the military, Bobby, my educated guess came to me for a reason. You know what I mean?
So I'm still in the Intel community, and I have always have feedback. And just knowing what I know, I do not recommend anybody in America, obviously, to have TikTok. If you already have it on your phone, you're too late. You got your phone, they got your data.
They got me. They done got me.
Talking about you, Corey Giovanni. Talking about you, brother.
Yeah. Why I don't get TikTok. I mean, it's just the cyber threats, man. It's such I forget it's a very anomalous platform. It siphons data, and I mean, and it's out there. They put it in the user agreement. Go back and watch that Joe Rogan video when he actually read through the user agreement. It has the ability to siphon data from other apps in your phone. Yeah. I mean, I let that, and that's out there. It's public.
That's like taking spying to a whole new level. And then when you talk about triangulating data, you begin to build groups of what individuals China would deem as an adversary to the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, to the government, to figure out where these targets are exactly. I imagine they have groups of people just over there just identifying who you are, what you do. They can tell by what you click on, what you're interested in. They can probably pick up things about your family, like some scary things. That's what I said, taking like spying to a whole new level, and they're doing it silently. They're doing it while you sleep at night.
I'm gonna rephrase what you're saying, Bobby, right? Because back in the day of intel gathering, right, and you are our intel person here, you had to work for that intel. Like you actually had to work and hustle to get that intel. Now we're just giving it to them. Here you go. Here's everything you want. Here's the nail polish I'm using.
Click,
here's my route to work into the massage therapist. I'm giving you everything.
Everything.
And that's why I say it's a threat. And maybe Brazil.
They're getting the whole cow.
You get the whole thing. They're getting the cow milk. They're getting the goat milk, the chicken with the eggs. They're getting everything.
Chicken with the eggs. I love it.
But I'm wondering if Brazil had their own concerns like that we just don't know about it with X.
No,
I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
We may not be getting the full picture. Here we are giving our feedback on something when we may not even know the whole scope of what it is that they're actually doing and why they're doing it. So,
and someone in Brazil might catch this stream and be like, "Y'all in the U.S., man, mind your own business."
Hey,
you know what? You right.
We're just giving you news that you can use.
News you can use. So that wraps up another episode of News You Can Use. Technically speaking, this was a good one, y'all. It was a Labor Day edition of our broadcast. Ladies first, Bobby. Let folks know how they can get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you.
All right, so hit me up on Facebook. It's Bobby Lopez, BOBBI, because a Y is for a guy. You can hit me up on IG, Bobby.Lopez.5. You'll know me because I use the same exact photos. I'm consistent across Facebook and IG, so you'll see I use the same photo. Can't miss me. Secondly, before I hop off, I want to let y'all know that if y'all are interested, I wanted to introduce some Technically Speaking merch.
Hey!
Awesome.
Yeah, if you're interested, let contact one of us. Let us know what you are, what shirt size you are, and give us some info.
We'll have the link up pretty soon. Coming soon. Oh yeah.
Coming soon.
Corey, how can they get in touch with you, sir?
Okay, so so there's some new things that have changed within my demisphere. However, it's all the same thing, like LeBron James. At Corey Giovanni, all locations, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, X, _ at Corey Giovanni for X. Now, just to let y'all know, you saw the merch. We got merch coming. And also, we also have merch where you see Mr. Tech Van Gogh is rocking right there. It's on the website.
Oh, yeah.
And we also have merch at Core ENT on the website. Please click the links, like, comment, and subscribe, because we're giving you news that you can use. Geronimo, tell them your spiel.
So you can get in contact with me on all platforms except for TikTok, and I just gave you my reasons why I don't do TikTok, but I am at tech_Von_Go on all platforms except for TikTok. And holla at us. Let us know what you want us to cover. You know what? If you hit me up, you shoot me a DM on Instagram or Facebook. Let me know what you want to hear about. And other than that, Thank you, everybody. IG, Facebook, YouTube for checking in with us and showing us love this Labor Day weekend. And y'all be safe. Have a good night.
Peace.